Today, we're doing something special. We are pulling out the crystal ball and taking a peek at the future of revenue operations. If you're just joining us, you might want to check out our earlier videos to get up to speed. We've got Nico Druelle with us, a RevOps pro who's at the cutting edge of what's possible within revenue operations. This episode is all about what's coming down the pike in RevOps, the trends and tech that'll shape how we do business. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, this is one you can't afford to miss. So let's dive in. You know, I think we often think about RevOps as a way to streamline processes, setting up things with the CRM, enrichment, all these other kind of plumbing, as you said earlier. But especially with AI, I feel like there's this whole new world now opening up around this sort of the predictive capabilities, let's say, that RevOps can enable. I mean, predictive lead scoring just being one of them. But I'm curious, you as someone that is working with a lot of forward-thinking companies and a forward-thinking RevOps person yourself, what are some of the more, let's say, forward-looking things that companies should be thinking about in terms of what is possible with RevOps? What are the cool things we can do?
Predictive scoring is probably the most mature and compelling use case of the AI use in go-to-market. And it's been existing for some times, and the new AI boom is making it a bit more shiny than it used to be. But there's a company that have been doing incredible work over the last few years. We have Breadcrumbs, you have Akio. Those companies are pretty much sitting on top of your warehouse or any system, by the way, and making any revenue operation person an AI or a data scientist. It's breaking the barrier to entry to creating models for revenue team. What this means in very concrete terms is that it gives a UI that enables a person in RevOps to remove the noise from very large data sets, choose which tables he thinks are relevant to predict certain data points on the funnel. And again, that can be completely different from one company to another, from top of the funnel on the acquisition front to retention, churn, to acquisition and simple, what is a good MQL. Any questions that you think is important to map out on your funnel can be predicted with past data. So what those tools are enabling is that you can ingest all the data you have from those different sources, and that's adding another reason why this data needs to be stored in a central way. So you can have entity resolution, and so you can use more data, give more depth to your data set to generate better models. And so you can decide for yourself what you want to optimize for, depending on the business use case. There's certain data science performance metrics that you have to be familiar for, but it's not so complicated. Recall, accuracy, precision. And you can fine tune your model as a data scientist would do in a Jupyter notebook, which is the code equivalent of those tools. And you can basically fine tune which parameter you want to optimize for. I think this is a very concrete example of how AI is making revenue operation extremely powerful function with a lot less dependencies on technical teams. Before that, if you want to set up a very powerful lead scoring mechanism, you have to talk to data scientists that in most cases, in my experience, don't have the bandwidth to build scoring model for the go-to-market teams because they have usually product, data, BI related questions that they need to answer first. In very concrete term, I truly believe that data scientist team don't know enough about business, don't have enough business context. So they don't ask themselves the right questions on what is a good table or a good data point to use in a model. And that's where those tools are really changing everything, because you have the context as a RevOps, and you have now the tools to say, okay, I want to take those 5 tables and take X and X data points and see which are the ones that are the most compelling towards that data point. And then you experiment yourself, and you're able to roll out a score that then you can implement in production. Again, the implementation piece is a very big roadblock for any team that has tried to roll out a score, keeping the muscle of ingesting data, having the model run on it, and then generating an outcome that is just being sent into the destination. That whole process is tedious. And those platforms are now enabling this in a very easy manner. I think that's going to help a lot of companies, a lot of operators generate a lot more insights and help salespeople, helps marketing people to infer what is the next best action given on all the context they have on the customer, on the company to perform, which is ultimately the best use of the sales time. Giving them all the context, giving them the entirety of the set of data on a customer, which is huge and completely impossible for human brain to process in less than an hour or even more. Digesting all this into a score with different explanation on what a score is this way and what is the next best action is pretty much not only very helpful, but also changing completely the way salespeople can interact with software. Do you actually need a CRM? And it's a really open question here, but do you need a CRM that is simply one table with very simple data points? If you can have an AI in the back end that processes not only what's in the CRM, but the entirety of the tables for a given company and person and tells you exactly what is the most relevant next action on that person, and it gives you all the context he has on it. And I think that's why a lot of new AI CRMs are going to end up being very successful and replacing Salesforce and HubSpot in the next 10 years, because it's a just way more natural way you can interact with data for sales than the way we currently have CRM for.
Thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed the content, make sure to check out our full series on revenue operations. If you want to pick Nico's brain on RevOps, check out his info in the description. And hey, if you found this helpful, smash that like button and hit subscribe. It really helps us out, and make sure to hit the bell if you want more tips on growing your business. Catch you in the next one.